Faux brick concrete stain allows you to create beautiful and natural-looking surfaces on new or existing concrete. Faux brick concrete stain is unsurpassed in quality, appearance, and durability. It's available in 10 different colors. Additionally, special custom designs can be created easily to produce logos, artwork, and geometric shapes. The design possibilities are limitless. Product characteristics. Faux brick concrete stain is a hydrochloric acid-based concrete stain. A formula of hydrochloric acid, minerals, and salts create a product with the capacity to stain concrete certain colors. It's important to know that the colors used will vary in degree of intensity, depth, shading, and even the color itself. The product rendered has a translucent appearance. Any marks or stains in the concrete before staining will be noticeable after the staining process is complete. Also, any cracks in the concrete will be accentuated by this process. Setting realistic expectations. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a professional contractor, making sure you or your customer understands what to expect is the key to a successful job. Contractors must ensure their customers are aware of the unpredictability of this process. There are times when concrete staining is not the appropriate product for a job. People who need a certain color or shade of color should consider other options. Staining concrete with acid-based stains is a very dynamic process. Using the same stain color on different concrete will, more often than not, render a different look. The beauty of stained concrete is the look, not a color. Different application methods deliver different appearances. You should always produce a sample area large enough to give you an idea of the final appearance. If a sample is approved, utilizing the same acid stain, dilution ratio, application method, and equipment is imperative to producing a similar finished product. Safety. Faux brick concrete stain is a true acid-based stain. Therefore, utilizing proper safety precautions is necessary. Safety equipment includes chemical-resistant gloves and splash goggles. Protective clothing and leather shoes or boots should be worn to avoid skin contact. An approved acid vapor respirator, NIOSH, MSHAA, TC23C should be worn when staining. Provide adequate ventilation and sufficient local exhaust is needed to maintain exposure below TWA and TLV limits. Surface preparation. New concrete should be allowed a minimum of 21 days to cure. A diluted stain may be used if a sooner application is required. In new construction, all surfaces to be stained should be covered and protected whenever possible. Cooler weather, highs not reaching 50 degrees Fahrenheit, requires curing time of 28 days. The concrete must be thoroughly cleaned and rinsed before attempting to apply the concrete stain. Aged concrete surfaces should be thoroughly pressure washed with a fan tip or sanded with a rotary floor sander. Clean all dirt and loose debris from the surface. Use commercial-grade detergent when necessary to remove any deep mud stains. A commercial degreaser works well in removing minor oil and grease stains. Oil, grease, and other petroleum stains that are permanent will not accept concrete stain. Therefore, optimum results cannot be expected. Any number of methods can be used to clean the concrete surface, from damp mopping to using a commercial cleaner with a rotary floor machine and brush attachment. Use a brush or a scraper to scrub spots you don't want to show through the stain. Never use hydrochloric or muriatic acid to clean the concrete surface. This will prevent the concrete stain from reacting properly. During the cleaning process, take note of the surface's penetrability. Water should darken the concrete surface and be readily absorbed. If water beads and does not penetrate, additional curing and/or surface preparation must be done. In some cases, hard-troweled concrete may need to be lightly sanded with a rotary floor machine to open the pores of the concrete surface. Prepare the area. Before application of the acid stain, steps must be taken to protect surrounding areas. Adjoining walls, baseboards, or connecting floor areas should be masked off, and plastic sheeting or paper should be used to keep the acid stain off the walls. These are stain products, and they will discolor any material they come into contact with. Concrete stain will also corrode or darken metal surfaces. Product mixing and application. Faux brick concrete stain is formulated to be diluted with water. The recommended dilution ratio is 1:1. Diluting the product does not result in a lighter color. To mix the acid stain, pour 1 gallon of water into the spray unit first. Then, slowly pour 1 gallon of the acid stain through an ordinary paint strainer into the water. The strainer will catch any particles or salts that may be in the acid and keep the sprayer from clogging up. Always pour the acid stain into the water because if there is a backsplash, it will be water that splashes, not acid. When mixing is complete, charge the sprayer. Test the sprayer in a safe place to make sure it's working correctly before applying the stain to the surface of the floor. There are many different application methods available for staining concrete. The most common method is by utilizing a pump-up sprayer. This sprayer should be made with all plastic components. Airless sprayers should not be used as the pressure created is too high. The acid in the stain will adversely affect the metal parts of an airless unit. Using a clean mop, wet the concrete surface before applying the stain. This ensures a more even application. Using the sprayer, apply a liberal coat of stain over the entire surface, working in a pattern across the floor. The stain will turn white and produce a slight bubbling or fizzing action upon application. This is normal. Using a brush or a floor scrubber buffer, scrub the stain into the concrete. At this point, you won't be able to see any color. This product is not like a paint. It takes some time for the process to work. Maintain a wet edge of water around previously stained areas as you move across the floor in a fishtail pattern. Continue the application process until the entire surface has been sprayed and scrubbed. Be aware the color of the stain you see in the original container is not necessarily the color that is produced on the floor. A second application may be necessary to achieve the desired result. Cleanup and neutralization. After the acid stain has been applied over the entire surface and scrubbed in, it must be allowed to dry completely. Drying time will vary depending on temperature and humidity. The product will dry into a white, crusty residue. This is normal. At this stage, you'll not see any color. Once the stain is completely dry, the surface needs to be neutralized. Neutralize by using faux brick concrete stain neutralizer. Mix the neutralizer as instructed and wet the entire surface. Use a brush or floor buffer with a soft pad to thoroughly scrub the acid stain and neutralize the surface. Use a wet-dry vacuum to remove excess water from the surface. Follow the vacuum with a rinse mop to make sure all chemicals are removed. Any chemicals left on the surface may keep the sealer from adhering. During the cleaning process, while the floor is still wet, you'll get an indication of what the surface will look like when sealed. Sealing and waxing. Once the entire floor is dry, it's time to apply the sealer. There are some sealers on the market. We recommend using either Artcrete product, DC 2500 or AS 3000. Both products are solvent-based acrylics with UV inhibitors. Sealer can be applied using a sprayer or a paint roller. It's better to apply the sealer in 2 or 3 light coats than to apply one heavy coat. These sealers dry to a very hard finish, thus protecting the stained concrete. The sealer application will bring out the colors in the stained concrete. What you see when you apply the sealer is the finished color. The hardness of the finish allows scratches to show. Lay down a coat or 2 of liquid polish on top of the sealer using a clean mop. Overlap the strokes to make sure you cover the entire floor. The liquid polish helps create a softer finish, so the scratches are less prevalent. Apply 2 coats of sealer, then 2 coats of polish, and you'll have a great finish.